Hi, Mike Trout here. I'm back in Florida taking care of my dad who just turned 91 last month. And my goal is to get him set up in a retirement home because he can really no longer take care of himself. He needs assistance, showering and bathing and other things. I've been away from the internet, social media, Facebook, Twitter, everything for really the last 8 months. The last 2 months I've been working, I've been out of my funk, but prior to that, um, I was very depressed. I'd gained a lot of weight. I've actually lost about 10 pounds than what I had. And I was depressed because I thought I'd done it for Foundups. I went to DevCon in Shanghai. I met two amazing investors. They committed to investing five. They introduced me to another investor who committed to match theirs. And I thought it was done. I was on the top of my game. I thought the world, and I've, it's like the world couldn't got any better. And then the whole deal just crumbled over a course of a month. Um, and I was like, what the fuck? And not only that, on top of that, compounded that, I never thought we could elect a president worse than Bush. Because I left America when Bush became president in 2004 and thought I'd never come back. And then it was, and I was like, oh my God, the world is going to end, right? It's over. So I pretty much spent my time in bed and watching movies and very let everything go. And didn't do any updates or anything. And I didn't know. I was like, oh, I took this money from my Patreon investors. I won't be able to pay it back, and and I'm like, oh my God, and people just don't get it. They don't understand that we have to change capitalism. Capitalism is ultimately broken, and I'm not in favor of communism. I'm not in favor of any kind of socialism. I'm, in favor of something that I call social capitalism, which is kind of like social media. Social media isn't it's about us working together, empowering others to save our planet, and launching companies that are collectively owned by us that return the investments collectively to us and launching other ideas. And I'm like, this is so important. And why don't people get it? Because all the problems that we're facing on the planet comes out of our one broken economic system that we call capitalism. Capitalism is broken. And climate change, deforestation, all these things. And I was like, people just don't get it. So, but 2 months ago, I ended up getting a friend of mine, actually my Japanese mountain teacher who's in his 70s, brought the CEO and chairman of this small little Japanese company. They spoke a little English over to my house. And say, oh, please come out, see it. We're really interested. And I don't really speak that much Japanese. I speak enough to get by. And I've always wanted to rice farm. I've always wanted to get involved. I've always said, God, I wish I get involved in some sort of farming venture in Japan, but it's very close and everything else. Well, anyway, I said, okay, whatever. And the CEO showed up again, like a couple of weeks later. Hey, I thought you were going to come by. So I said, I'll come by tomorrow. So I ended up going by, and I started working for them. And I've put in tons and tons of hours, and it's great. And then I had to take care of my father. And then I just happened to look at Bitcoin. A friend was like, Bitcoin's just exploding. It went up $1,000 this month, and it's going to hit 10,000 easily. And I had taken not a majority, but a good part of the investments in the Foundups because I've always over 8 months ago, I talked about with what I call Jon Snow about, hey, we should set up an investment fund and we should just work that and raise the money for Foundups. Well, the 10 Bitcoin fund that I started for Foundups now is worth over $20,000. And ultimately, that intuition that I had over 8 months ago to do this as plan B, right, if this investment fell through, was the right thing. So what we're doing now is we're going to launch and develop what I'm calling the Foundups Cryptocurrency Investment Fund. Ethereum has gone from basically $10 to nearly $300 in the last 6 months. all these other currencies are going to go up. And here is why. Let me explain to you what's going on. Just turn on the news. Just turn on the news. That's all you need to do. And I don't know if you heard last week, but I caught something on the news in that I don't think many people caught it. But remember the guy who Kerzner met, the investment banker, the Russian investment banker, and then there was a British interviewer who caught him, right, to ask him questions about Kerzner. This happened just a few days ago, right? He goes, hey, Mr. So-and-so, Mr. corrupt billionaire banker who works for the Russian government, right? Who basically is the right-hand guy of Putin. What, can you answer? He goes, no, I'm busy. I'm going into a blockchain. He said blockchain. I was like, what? And I rewind, listen, I was like, blockchain. And basically what's happening is this. Because of the insecurity created by Trump, the world is in a fucking chaos spin. Yes, the markets are going up, right? Because there are those that think, oh, Trump is going to fix things. They're complete fucking morons. Trump is not going to fix things. Trump is going to make things so much worse. So what's happening right now is everyone is hedging against fucking Trump and putting their money into Bitcoin. And that's why Bitcoin has basically gone, in just last month, up $1,000, and it's up to $2,000 a coin, right? When I was looking at it, invest in it, it was $600 a coin. And I believe, and many others believe, that it's going to hit over $10,000 a coin, just like gold, and it's going to get up to $10,000 probably by the end of the year. I'm telling you right now. So what I'm doing is going to, my father came to me today and said, listen, I showed him the stuff. He says, I want to invest $100,000 into Bitcoin. So we're launching a fund called the Foundups Cryptocurrency Index Fund. It's be like a mutual fund that's going to take cryptocurrencies and broken up, and we're going to basically create this fund for cryptocurrency. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to still be doing my Foundups and stuff like that. My Patreon campaign, maybe I have one patron now at this stage. We're redoing all the people who have invested in that, I'm going to basically attach to the fund, okay, based on the amount that they invested in the Patreon as a way to pay them back. I have their emails and everything else, I have their contact information. And then what I'm going to do is then with the $100,000 that my father's going to put in from his investments, because he's going into retirement home, right? And I'm the executor of his trust and everything else. And I've talked to him, and he says, "Okay, I trust you. Let's do it." We're going to start seed that fund with that money plus the Foundups Bitcoin, which is about 20,000 that we have in there, and start this new fund. So this is the exciting news, and this was Plan B over 8 months ago. And what this is going to allow us to do moving forward with Foundups is that we don't need investors who are going to come around and say, no, we're going to control everything. No, this is how we're going to do it. No, basically, we have the money, so we have everything. And what we can ultimately do now is actually create Foundups the way that we envision, completely open source, completely transparent, and using a percentage of the interest of the fund. Probably 80% of the benefits of the fund, that's an 80-20, is going to go into launching this planet. 20% will be returned to the investors. And the 80% that is used will be turned into our coin that the investor gets anyway for using their investments to launch it. So basically think of it this way. You have a fund. 20% of the profits are returned to the investor of the fund. 80% is put into a new vehicle. Think of it as the Foundups coin or the Foundup for that new ecosystem that ushers in a new social capitalism business model that I've been pioneering since 2010. It's all ready to go. We just need to build the platform. We got all the pieces. We have the developers. We got everything. We just lack the funds. That's it. My name is Mike Trow. I have lots of videos. I'm going to be turning all my videos. I don't have a PC right now, but I'm going to be turning all my videos to open source. A lot of my videos right now are private because they were private because of the NDA that I had signed with the investor that basically took Foundups off of YouTube. There may be some videos of mine. So I'm going to be going back through all my videos and making them public. We're going to be setting up a wiki for Foundups. We have tons and tons of material on Foundups, and we'll be making all of it public. And because understand, I've been doing Foundups since 2009. In many essence, anyone who knows me will say, Mike, you were the inventor of the DAO, the Distributed Autonomous Organization. I called it Open Corps. The distributive distributive autonomous organizations and other things is something that I've been talking about since 2009. I'm the guy who actually shared Foundups with the founders of Ethereum, okay, which is driving all of this. And regardless of what percentage, there's lots of parts. I played a very significant role in the creation of Ethereum, and I have lots of videos on that. The fact is, who cares who created Ethereum? A 16-year-old or a 48-year-old who inspired a 16-year-old, right? And helped show him how all these parts would be put together via a best friend of his, right? Who cares? At this stage, it doesn't matter. We have a fascist in control of America, and he, in pulling everything apart, is actually going to help us create a new world. So having Trump as president is the best thing that could ever have happened to the planet. And I'll do more talks on that later.